John, let me ask you about the buffering capacity in the water.
Oh, as far as for CYA?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So people don't, a lot of people don't understand that conditioner plays a huge role in alkalinity in your pool, or total alkalinity in your pool. And you have two major things inside your water that buffer the pH from dropping, right? So when you add acid or when you add anything into the pool to lower pH, you have a buffer, which is your total alkalinity. And part of that is conditioner, right? And it works to buffer the pH from dropping, and bringing it back up to where it needs to be. Um, people, the biggest misconception when it comes down to your total alkalinity in the pool is carbonate alkalinity, right? And we've talked about this before, and I want to touch on it again. When you have conditioner in your pool and you have you're taking your alkalinity reading, you need to understand that a third of whatever your conditioner level is in your pool, and again, we'll do it at 100 parts per million to make it easy. So if you have 100 parts per million of conditioner in your pool, a third of that is 33. And if your alkalinity was at 100, you need to subtract that 33 from 100, and then now you're down to 67 parts of alkalinity in your pool. And that's where you come up with your carbonate alkalinity. Another thing you need to understand when you have CYA in your pool, and the higher the CYA you have in your pool, increases the amount of acid you need in order to drop the pH. So for instance, and I'm throwing these numbers out here. I don't have them written down, so don't kill me if I'm not on by the point. All right, please.
Oh no, we're gonna hold you.
All right. So if let's say you have a pool that has an 8.2 pH, and usually you have a salt pool and you're going to week after week, and you get there, water wants to naturally rise up to that, and you get to that pool and it's 8.2 parts, or it's 8.2 in pH, and you want to bring it down to, let's say, 7.5, right? If you have conditioner in that pool and it's, let's say, 100 parts per million of conditioner in that pool, you actually need, opposed to, let's say, 30 parts per million of conditioner in that pool, you actually need roughly about 20% more acid in order to get that effect, or be able to bring that pH down. So and I think it's around 20 ounces, but if you had 30 parts per million of conditioner in your pool, and you have an 8.2 pH, and you want to bring it down to 7.5, you're going to add roughly about 20 ounces of acid in that pool.
Right.
Now take a different body of water that has 100 parts per million of conditioner in that pool, right? And you're at 8.2 and want to bring it down to 7.5, right? You're roughly going to need about an additional 20% more of acid in order to achieve that. And I think that's taken into account that you have an alkalinity of 100 in that pool. So it really makes a big difference. And, sometimes people go, okay, great, I'm doing it, and I'm adding acid that I need in order to get where I'm getting at, but I'm not getting those numbers. And when I'm checking again, or I'm coming back the next day, or coming back next week, I'm right where I'm at again. You know what I mean? And I don't understand why my pH isn't going where it needs to be. The reason why is because you're not using it to compensate, or you're not taking in consideration the effect that CYA has on it. And I want to just throw a little plug out there. Bob Lowry has an app, and it's an app that we used all the time. It's called a pool dose calculator, or when it comes down to acid, and it takes into effect or it takes into account what your alkalinity is, what your conditioner level is, and even if you have borates in your pool too, because borates does the same thing too. When you have borates in the water, you need a hell of a lot more acid in order to bring it down to where it needs to be. So I suggest everybody go on the App Store, download that app from Bob. I think it's called the acid dose calculator, and it'll do all the figures for you so that you know how to dose your pool correctly. So one, we're not overdosing it, and we're not underdosing it. We're just putting exactly what we need to put into it.